3. What's up, y'all? This is DC. Another episode of Kingpin Chronicles Podcast. If you haven't already, make sure you like all of our videos. Check it out, right? Check the content out. Like videos, comment, right? Engage with us and let us know what you think. Subscribe. Click the little bell. Turn on your notifications so you'll be notified when we create content. And of course, share the content. Um, Also, don't forget to check out. We got a lot of information and different programs and stuff that we sharing and have access to for the people. So go check some of that stuff out on our website at kingpinchronicles.com. Merch, uh, all our different channels and upcoming things we got going on. Today, we're gonna get into a big subject. It's been a lot of it going on, and we can't miss it. But and it ain't gonna stop going on. So I got the OG here to discuss it with me. Um, and who better, to have this discussion that we're gonna have? Because today I kind of want to go over the way that the game shifted and what was seen as a tarnishment, something that put a blemish on you in the game, then became kind of all right, man, and seen as just telling the truth.
Mm.
Well, give me a little bit of room to speak on this. 'Cause I got, a major part of my life spent doing the wrong things and on the wrong side of the law. Luckily, I was able to come to the wherewithal to make the decision to change my life and walk in a different path. So, for this purpose, I got somebody that wasn't able to in time make the decision and leave before they had to suffer the worst types of consequences possible. I'm gonna let him get into that. I'm gonna introduce my co-host, Mr. Jeffrey Jed Lee.
What's up, DP?
What's up, bro?
I'm Jeffrey Jed Lee. Originally from Miami, migrated to St. Pete. Been in the streets since I was, 15, 14 years old. I know the streets in and out. I know, the legal side of the law now that I've, spent so much time in the federal prison. So, DP, we linked up together when I got out and he, got found not guilty on his case. And, we've been trying to advocate to, keep dudes from getting in the situation that I went through, and trying to nip it in the bud from here. And, a lot of dudes don't realize that, it's a lot of things that you could be doing with your money legally. you know, if you're in the street, you got to have an end game. So, they have dispensaries now. What you got to do it legally. You can take your your proceeds that you grind from the street, and you can turn it into legit money. I did that when I was younger. With the car washes, with tow trucks, and with clubs, and with liquor license, and all those type of things. You can have a hot dog stand, but you got to show that you're making a transition from the street into turning your life around, to going legit, because you can't be in the streets and think it's like a 9 to 5 job. It's too many uh dudes that's out here, women that's out here that's working for law enforcement they're gonna track you down, they're gonna run you down. So we here to, give you a little game, give you a little wisdom to, if you make your little bankroll, get out and do something with it. Go right, go straight. Because it's a kid can sell drugs, but
Yeah, we're gonna get to that in a second to get back in here. But that's something that's real. And the elephant in the room is, man, we've been on it, man, and we're gonna stay on top of these things and give our reactions to things that's going on in the area. And we've been getting a little bit of feedback. We get a lot of engagement, but there's a lot of people that's speaking like there's something wrong with advocating for people to, if you're gonna get in this game and play it, know the consequences. Before they come upon you, and then when those consequences come and it's time to deal with them, you got to be able to deal with them because you was able to play the game. I went on ahead and kept it going. I see you had blacked out, but
Yeah.
I just
And
brought
so
up
we
the
just, man, Kingpin Chronicles was created, man, for us to help dudes that's in the street get out of the street, women that's in the street get out of the street, guide y'all in the right path. Because
that's
I
right.
don't travel those roads, and I know it's gonna be, you know.
Now, one thing I want to talk about in this particular conversation is, and I was speaking on it briefly, how people advocate nowadays for people that don't want to deal with the consequences of the things they was out here in the streets doing, right? And it done
Mm-hmm.
became a normal thing for people to seem like it's all right to pass their consequences on to the next man. You know what I'm saying? By
Right.
well, it's a lot of stuff people call it snitching, ratting, whatever. But
Mm-hmm.
you know, during your time, it was it was to a point where people was losing their lives for stuff like that. And I don't
Right.
condone no violence. We don't condone no violence over here or push it.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a certain standard that had been set in the street at the time, right? What I was saying was it was
AP?
you can hear me?
Yeah, phone. Maybe on the phone.
I was saying that back in your time, the 70s, 80s, and coming into the 90s, it was still
Mm-hmm.
somewhat of a code. And I don't want to sound like a fool saying it was no different then because it was always been people snitching, you know.
Right.
But it's an epidemic now to the point where
Right.
me being a young man when y'all thing went on, I've been able to watch
Mm-hmm.
streets ever since, right? And at some point,
Uh-huh.
I jumped off the porch and got my feet wet in the streets. But what I want to ask you is, what do you think changed to to make it more acceptable for people to pass these consequences on and people to advocate for it being all right?
Well, I say, man, back from start with we started with Lumpy Johnson, Joe Bonimo, John Belly, um, Jimmy Long, um, and my dad here too. Yeah. Back then you kind of had like a street code, but right, street code has been like ostracized. So we're like the extinct um, human beings. Dudes who stand up and dudes who real, you know. And culture now, they accept um, dudes that cooperate on dudes, get out of his way, and they celebrate that type of dudes. I see it out here every day, but I stay in my own lane, and I don't know if the times have changed from social media to now, and everybody want to be somebody on social media. It's just, I sit back and I analyze everything, but I don't really, you know, I'm not really public. I'm not like Big Meech. Big Meech jumped out and he wanted to jump right on social media. And he ain't right, you know, from me knowing the law, knowing that you can't get out on statutory sentence on the guideline. You know, I I see things on social media, but I lay in the cut and I understand that most people on social media they ignorant to the law, and that's one of the maximum law is ignorance. There's no excuse to the law.
That's right.
So a lot of people be out here, they don't really understand what's going on. They don't understand why, you know, a lot of people are still out here who have cases, and I done read probably thousands of cases, 10, 20,000 cases, so I understand how investigations start from start to the beginning. I was like uh, I would call it a legal beagle. So, although I might not say much on social media, but I am very acute to the law, and I recognize the sucker when I see him, and I know how to deal with them, and I know how to avoid them, and that's where I'm at right now. I'm sucker free, right? Ain't no sucker free.
See, that's one of the things that I think really did it was the infatuation people got with the materialistic stuff,
Mm-hmm.
right? And a social image.
Mm-hmm.
And social media is where we bring all that to the forefront. But it means so much to people, you know, to it that and it's going to a lot of stuff, but we see how our women act for the attention on social media, right?
Right.
And then it done got to where that the dude doing the exact same, in my
Right.
opinion, feminine action.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
women to do anything for money. And then you got some of these dudes out here, they'll do anything to be around a dude that got money. So I understand. Money don't impress me because I had it all my life. Well, the culture now, they they lean towards the guys or the females that have money that don't that don't impress
And um, we got a lot of traction on some posts we put on social media,
me.
pretty
Mm-hmm.
much on this topic. We commented on some stuff that came out with Meech, as you mentioned,
Mm-hmm.
and then we put some stuff out by some dudes locally. And
Right.
I think ain't
Well, let me touch on that for a minute because over the years, um, I had an 851 enhancement, right? And in order for you to get a sentencing reduction with a statutory sentence, they have to change the statute. The guidelines does not
Jed.
apply to a guy that has a statutory sentence.
Explain
So
that, because a
that
lot of
being
people don't know
said,
what that is.
they don't know what it is, but
The
some
statutory
people
sentence.
a statutory sentence means like you have two separate books. You got statutory book, then you have United States sentencing guideline book. Excuse me. And you have the Federal Rules of Criminal Procedure. So those two different books. So if the judge sentence you to a statutory enhancement, then that's what applies to you. If you have a guideline sentence, that's like a uh, the little brother to a statutory sentence. And if you have a statutory sentence, that trumps your little brother's sentence. So you cannot get a reduction. I did it over the year. I filed. They have two-level reduction. They had all kind of guidelines and minutes where guys could have got reduction in sentence. And every time that I filed over the 30 years, I couldn't get it because I had a statutory sentence. So the way Meech got out under the guidelines with a statutory sentence, that's mathematically impossible. It's impossible. You can't get it. I
And
bet my life on that.
and
You
I'm gonna try to make that clearer for people that, because you did a good job, but I'm gonna make it clear, and I'm gonna use the way the state do the same thing. The
right.
state, the state, every felony carries a minimum mandatory, right? So
Mm-hmm.
that would be equivalent to the guidelines in the
Right.
federal system, right?
Right.
Where it work off of the points. right?
Mm-hmm.
But they're gonna give you a level and a score, and where they meet, you get anywhere in between there, like a 15 to 40, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that right?
Right.
That's a that's a that's a guideline
Right.
sentence. A
Right.
statutory sentencing is a minimum mandatory. Like in Florida, they got minimum. Okay, if you they call it PPR. If you get out and
Right.
you're a felon and you reoffend with any one of these charges, you got to do this minimum amount of time. Ain't
Right.
no reduction. You can't get less than this.
Right.
So that's what happened with me.
Yeah. And before I lose my chain of thought, another dead giveaway is um, when he filed this guideline reduction, the prosecutor didn't oppose it. The judge didn't give a written opinion. That's unheard of. Anytime you file something in the court, the prosecutor gonna oppose, especially if you're a high, you're a high profile person. They not gonna the prosecutor gonna throw about a 400-page response, and then the judge gonna give you about a 40, 50-page opinion. So that's a dead giveaway. The prosecutor didn't give a response, then the judge said give a written opinion, and they just gave a reduction. So I ain't never seen that happen. And I fuck with dudes from everywhere, all over, from Chicago, Detroit, Chicago, LA, Philly. You know what I'm saying? I fuck with some real gangsters that was in the penitentiary. So Big Meech wasn't in no penitentiary. So I already know that was a red flag. So
That's another red flag
yes,
that he didn't go to no pen.
yes,
So it's really a miseducation thing that got people out here okaying it and giving these dudes
right. Like what I
slaps
said
across.
earlier, ignorance of the law is no excuse. So a lot of these dudes that's commenting, or females commenting, they don't know anything about the law. They ain't read one book
That's right.
concerning the law, the
That's right.
statute, the guidelines. I had man boxes of transcripts, cases that are copied in the law library. I spent $100,000 in copying costs. Shit, yeah, yeah.
They don't
So
understand that.
they
And
don't understand that. They wasn't in that
that's
fight. They wasn't in that fight. They just out here. So like I say, with social media, you could a person can make themselves,
yeah, you
be what
see
they want to be on social media. But
the army.
yeah, yeah, so,
Yeah, used to be.
yeah,
And I want to let this be clear. We don't use these people and these examples, right? In any
hmm
kind of way to knock them or make people think that we in any kind of way better than them or anything.
right.
But we put this information out there so that the people
Yeah,
that
we
don't
put it out
know,
there, and if like say I can get in contact with Big Meech, he can get in contact with me. He can explain that. I'm gonna let him explain himself on Kingpin Chronicles or whatever platform. I want to see. I want to see it. I want to see the paperwork because while all the penitentiaries I was in, you got 30 days to get your paperwork. Explain how you get this type of sentence, how you get relief. When you go to court, you come back, you got 30 days to have your paperwork. Oh, we're gonna walk you to the lieutenant office. Well, I got everybody from DC, everybody from the Crips with blood standing behind me. There's only 5 dudes from Florida. I got 150 dudes standing behind me like, yeah, you got to go up.
you got to go get that. Yeah, you got to get up
Yeah,
out of there.
yeah, you got to get that paperwork.
Right.
So I'm
And
standing on that. Out
I've
here on
like, I've
Florida
seen
Peak.
some I've seen some stuff that I'm gonna get it and I'm gonna share it with you. But that whole dig real deep with me. So
Uh,
it's clear to me what he did. I don't. It ain't doubt in my mind. You know what I'm
right,
saying?
right.
So
Now I ain't trying to put him under the bus. I just use that as a
right.
scenario because we posted the information, and then I'm just giving you my view of how I see it.
And see the one only thing problem that I have with the people that do pass their consequences on to other people or try to, because everybody that snitch don't get rewarded for it. Now, that's another mistake people make. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? Everybody
Right.
don't
Yes,
get out
sir.
early because they tell.
Yes, sir.
But I don't like the fact that them dudes do that and then look at me right now. He's trying to play that same role, tricking people off the street. Tell
Right.
people the truth. Man, what we did led to a bunch of people having to do time in prison, man. Jed,
Right.
it was consequence to what Jed
Right.
did. It was
Right.
consequence to what I did,
Right.
man.
Right.
You know,
Right.
we don't
Right.
we don't hold that as a badge.
Right. Yeah. Instagram, TikTok.
That's right.
Yeah. What is it called? Kingpin Chronicles. Kingpin Chronicles. I'm live right now. These my homeboy, South Carolina. What up?
Okay,
Yes,
okay,
sir.
okay.
Hey, y'all gonna be on the podcast right now. Yeah, and I know a lot of y'all homeboys, man. We'll talk. Y'all tap in with me. All right, all right. Buy a shirt or something on there, man. Get your Kingpin Chronicles. You see me? Y'all live? Yeah, we live, bro. We live. We 100. We 100, bro. I see y'all.
Somebody, man. We can stop one person from going helping keep them people $1 billion industry going. We did our job, Jed. You know
Yes,
what I'm
sir.
saying?
Yes, sir.
We ain't trying to hurt nobody's feelings or put
Right.
nobody on under the bus, but
Right. Excuse me.
they shouldn't be trying to hide what they did either if they know man.
Right.
Be a man about it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Same way you was
Right.
out here flaunting and flaunting how you was living,
Right.
flaunting flaws, how you got yourself up out of it. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? And just tell the truth. Um, that's
Right.
pretty much it, Jed. I want to get on here and kick the bobo and break
Okay.
the
Yeah,
ice.
my battery about to go dead too.
Okay.
So
So
we'll
we'll
talk,
pick
bro.
back up.
We'll
I
get
get
back
back
on
with
here.
you.
Next topic.
All right.
Hey, y'all
Y'all
tap in
make
the
sure y'all
Kingpin Chronicle, man. Y'all hit that merch, that our store. Keep us, keep us open and uh able to get online and share
oh,
some positive information.
one more thing before we get out of here. St. Pete, Tampa, all surrounding areas. We ain't locked in a date yet or venue, but stay tuned for the Pinellas County Miami Kingpins watch party.
Yes,
We're
sir.
gonna have Convertible Bird, Bo Diddley, Boss
And boss.
Man, and the whole host. Jed, we're gonna bring them OGs out. So y'all
Yes,
stay
sir.
tuned for a date and a time on that. With that said, Jed that went dead. Kingpin Chronicles, I'm DP, my partner Jed, and sign that. Like, share, subscribe. I'm out.